Welcome to the Firehouse, the show dedicated to the brave men and women who serve our
hello
community.
Everybody, and welcome to the Firehouse on WRHU 88.7. I am your host, Chris Moses, and today, sitting with me in the Firehouse is my boy, Steve Lampert. Get it right.
Lampert.
Not
Thank you,
Bert,
Chris.
Lampert from Mineola. What's going on, man?
What's up, man?
How
Pleasure
you
to
doing?
meet you.
Yeah, pleasure to meet you. All right, so, Steve, I read a lot about you. Your bio was amazing. I'm ready to get this going.
Let's
I am
do it.
ready. All right. So,
Let's do
listen, tell me what department, which I already said was Mineola, right?
Yes.
What company, how long you've been in, and what ranks you've held.
I'm in Mineola Fire Department, Engine Company 1. I'm the second lieutenant, and I have about 30 years of experience in the fire service.
30 years, and we're gonna dive into those 30 years. I know
We
you
are
got
gonna
some
do it.
stories for me.
I got a
know
couple.
it. Got a couple.
I got a couple.
But we want to start with those 30 years are not all in Mineola.
No,
So let's break down those 30 years.
my firefighting career actually started in the Poconos of Pennsylvania. My parents
Poconos
had a
of
house up on
Pennsylvania.
Lake Mullen-Pawpack, and
Okay.
after I graduated high school, I joined the fire service up there. And wow, very interesting.
Yeah, because I'm trying to think Poconos. That's where we go to go vacation. And, you know, as a firefighter, you're always looking for hydrants. They're not, like, I'm looking around and I'm like,
But
how does
believe
that
it or
work
not,
out?
a lot of the gated communities on the lake, Lake Mullen-Pawpack in that area, had hydrants in the communities.
Okay.
A lot of the private homes, it was tanker shuttles. It was
wow.
hard suction. Setting up drafting
Yep.
was a big thing.
Have you ever actually done that? It's so crazy because
Oh, yeah.
we have all the stuff on our rig, but I've never actually drafted from a pond.
We used to, when we get a house fire up there, a single 10,
Okay.
but they just called them house fires.
Okay.
The chief would actually call mutual aid to go set up a drafting area, normally in a big pond or a lake,
Okay.
and then tankers would run shuttles back and forth to the fire scene.
Wow.
Yeah.
To
And
bring water back
Yeah.
and forth, back and forth.
the first new engine usually would go to like pretty much the front of the house because there wasn't really a lot of trucks up there.
Okay.
So the engine would get close to the house as possible and leave enough access for another engine to either set up a porta pond if they could,
Okay.
or the tanker itself would come up to the first new engine, drop like 3,000 gallons of water like that, while the first new engine's got a hard suction in a porta pond.
Wow.
Yeah.
So they had a rhyme and a reason.
Yeah, it's almost kind of like out east.
Yeah,
when you
yeah,
think about
yep,
it. Yeah,
there you go,
kinda
like out east.
but
All right,
with
so
mountains.
Poconos, how many years in Poconos? Because you said
God,
you graduated out there, right, from high school.
Yeah,
and
I-
joined right away, right?
Yeah, I did. Let's see, I think it was 9 years in the Poconos.
Wow, 9
Yeah.
years. Okay, 9. Did you hold any ranks out there, or?
No, I didn't.
Okay,
I,
okay.
At the time, I had gotten my job with Northwell working EMS.
Okay.
So I was kind of back and forth.
Okay, making
So
that
I
commute.
Yeah, I would
Okay.
work, a couple days down here, and then go back to Pennsylvania for a couple days, and then
Okay.
eventually I just decided to stay on Long
Stay
Island.
here. So now you're like, all right, done with the Poconos. You come here and you join Mineola now.
I actually joined Garden City Park.
Garden City Park. Okay,
Yeah, my
all
father's ex-chief there back
right,
in 80,
okay.
81.
Okay.
My uncle's a current member there still. I think he's got like 56 years. He's a 56-year member of Garden City
wow,
Park.
wow,
Also
wow.
an ex-chief. And then I moved. So with that, I transferred
You
over.
transferred
to,
over to Mineola because then you moved over.
Yeah,
moved over there,
I moved to Williston Park and then
then
over to Mineola.
Mineola.
So
Let me ask you a question about Garden City Park. So you did join Garden City Park for
Yes.
a little bit, for a little time.
I was there for like 6 years.
So it's always been, and I know I've talked about this before, and a lot of people, Garden City Park, or is it just Garden City had like a couple of paid firemen, like, right? Weren't they like the first ones that like had?
That was Garden City.
That was Garden City.
Garden
Okay,
City,
not Garden
yeah.
City Park. Okay,
Garden City
okay.
Park was volunteer from day one till present.
till
Yeah.
right now. All right. So Garden City for how many years?
Garden City Park.
Garden City Park. Sorry, Garden City Park.
Over 6.
Over 6. So
Yeah.
you're spending some time in these places.
Yeah,
You're spending some time
Yep.
there.
Then you get married and you have kids, and
There
then
you go.
Then it's time to move.
It's time to
and
move.
so I jumped around a little bit, and I finally found my home in Mineola.
In Mineola.
Yeah,
in
and I've been
Mineola.
there for over 7 years. So
Over 7 years in Mineola. And
Yeah.
right now you're what rank?
I'm second lieutenant of Engine Company 1.
Second lieutenant in Engine Company 1. All right, so let's start this up. you don't just wake up and decide that you're going to be a firefighter and want to run into a burning building. Is it your family? Because you said that you have family in there that
My father did
years.
it for over 20 years, and I thought that was the coolest thing. Going down to the firehouse, you know, I remember Hurricane Gloria.
Okay.
And being down at the firehouse for Hurricane Gloria, and, you know, and watching my father go out the door on the back of the trucks where they used to ride the back step back in the day.
Yep.
And I was like, I want to do that.
I want to do this.
I want to do that. It was in my blood. It was
already there. So you were groomed for this. You already knew.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So you start, you know, at 18 in the Poconos. That's where you are. How is that dynamic? Because your family is still out here in Long Island, right? Doing in the fire service.
Yeah.
Are you getting little pointers from your family here about there?
My father passed away back in 2019, but
okay.
he used
Sorry to hear that.
Oh, thank you, man.
Yeah.
He was he would always give me advice, or always, hey, you guys got a 10 today, or, you know.
Yeah.
You know, he was always my biggest fan when it came to the fire service. He really was. My uncle, you know, sometimes I'll pick his brain once in a while.
Okay.
But, yeah, I mean, you know, my father was my biggest
fan. Biggest fan when it came to that.
It was
yeah.
cool. It was cool.
I love to hear that. All right, so now we're in Mineola, right? We're there in Mineola, and then you want to decide to go crazy and take the leap into leadership of the fire department. So what makes you say you want to do that now, right?
Well, I like to teach.
Okay.
I like to share my knowledge. You know, I feel, you know, I feel good about it. I feel, you know, when I teach my guys stuff, you know, in Mineola, being the second lieutenant, Engine Company 1, along with the other companies we have, the second lieutenants are the training officers.
Okay.
So I tell all my young guys, everything I teach you, I've done with my own two hands.
That's right.
So, you know, I enjoy it. I enjoy, you know, helping guys. I want to see them be excellent firefighters.
Okay.
I want them to come home at night to their families, you know, and it's great. I mean, you know, some guys are like, oh, being an officer, it's like running a daycare center, but
I would sometimes
it
agree
kind of
with
is.
that.
But at the end of the day, I enjoy it. I do. I enjoy
Okay.
it. It's awesome.
Okay.
I have no.
How many members are in Mineola in a whole?
Well, we have 3 companies.
Okay.
We have Engine 1, we have Truck 2, Engine Company 3.
Okay.
Engine 1 and Truck 2 turn out of headquarters.
Okay.
Which I don't know if you've been to Mineola lately. The village just built us a new firehouse.
Yep. So I actually used to work at Winthrop, which is right down there, which we're going to talk about because I want to know like the response to there. But keep going.
We're very grateful that the village built us a new firehouse. Our old firehouse was over 100-some years old, and it was literally falling apart at the seams.
It was time to.
It was time to
get a new one.
We didn't want a firehouse. We needed a firehouse.
Yeah.
So. And you know.
So where did you go during that time? Did y'all all get stuffed in one area?
We did. We have Engine Company 3 is off of Elm Place, off of Jericho Turnpike in Mineola. They're in a residential area, and we had to put the whole department in that one firehouse. And wow,
it's fun, but then it's not.
Yeah, it was. You know, it was fun.
Yeah.
Sometimes it was challenging. But at the end of the day, the whole department was under one roof. But it was time to go after a while.
It was time there. It was like, listen, we need our space, man.
We kind of felt we overstayed our welcome. We were like, hey, sorry, guys from Company 3, but we got to go.
No, we
got to go.
We got to get out of here.
We gotta go. But no, it was good. I think it actually built a lot of camaraderie.
Yeah,
between
pulled
the 3
everybody
companies.
kind of together like
Right.
that. All right, so yeah, I want to ask this question. I got to, because if you're in Mineola, for listeners or people that don't know about Mineola, there's a huge hospital there. It's now NYU. It used to be called Winthrop, but it's now NYU. What is like the response to a hospital? Like, how, if you could walk us through, you get an automatic there. Like, the hospital's huge.
NYU Langone, like Northwell, has their own kind of like fire brigade or service, where, you know, they obviously, you know, they can handle small stuff, but responding there is, we don't really respond there as a department as much as the chiefs do.
Okay.
Because we make those calls, chiefs calls. I know the chiefs go there a lot. When they're not around, the officers will handle it, but we really haven't, you know, knock on wood,
had anything.
Right. And their management over there and their fire command or whatever is excellent. You know,
Okay.
the guy who runs it's a Jericho volunteer.
Yep.
So these guys all know, you know, they know the deal, and
they know,
it goes pretty smooth.
Okay.
It really does. We haven't had anything major there.
So now also, which if you don't know, my listeners, we have the Mineola train station there too.
Oh,
you
yeah.
got a lot of stuff over there. So
If you
what's the
haven't-
response to that? Like,
We believe it or not, Chris, we have gone from a residential firefighting department to a high-rise department.
yeah, because
We train a lot on standpipes and
Yep.
kits and stuff like that.
Mineola's building, and they're
Mineola
going to the
is
sky.
not building out;
They're building up.
up. And we have a lot of big apartment buildings that you see are popping up, and there's more to come. And you know, we train mostly on standpipes
Okay.
and high-rise, kind of like high-rise fires, because
Because
you
that's
know,
what you're doing.
when we get a house fire, we're like, oh, okay. You know what I'm saying? You know, if we would get a fire in one of these apartment buildings, it's like, oh boy.
Uh-oh. What do
But
you
we,
do?
you know, we train on it. We train with our neighboring departments on it. Like
Okay.
on phone alarms, we have Williston Park and Garden City come in on us on phone alarms.
Okay.
And we just a couple weeks ago, I held a training in at the Allure on 140 Old Country Road,
Okay.
and we had Williston Park come in. We did a walkthrough, showed them where all the standpipe connections are, and we constantly train on those big buildings.
Wow.
I mean, yes, we haven't gotten anything there yet, and we like to keep it that way.
Yep.
But when
don't
we
want
do,
that.
I
Yeah.
think we'll be ready
You'll
to
be ready to do.
tackle whatever's thrown at us.
Let me ask you a question as a captain or even as the Chiefs. Also in Mineola, you got a lot of federal buildings. Can you just go in there? You got don't you have the courts and stuff?
Well-
Are you able, or is there clearance that's needed?
That's actually Garden City's problem.
Okay, so that's Garden City.
That's Garden City's
that
problem.
gets into Garden City. Okay.
But I shouldn't. It's our problem too, because we're going to go mutual aid.
You're going
to
to
them.
mutual aid to
Yeah,
it. Yeah.
we're going to go mutual aid to them. So,
Okay.
but all those courthouses and stuff are actually in the village of Garden City.
Oh, so that considered Garden
Right.
City. Okay, I know that's right over there. Yeah.
So we don't go first due to them. We're either second due or whatever they call for. So
Whatever. Okay. All
Yeah.
right. So, listen, Steve, I know you got some stories for me. Talk to me. So, you said that you're also EMS too, right?
I was an EMT.
Jobtown Graphics is your go-to for custom prints, t-shirts, patches, stickers, and more, turning your creative ideas into reality. Owned and operated by Firefighter, they bring dedication and precision to every project. Whatever you can imagine, they can produce. Visit them at Jobtown Graphics on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. Drop a comment if you go on Instagram and tell them that WRHU 88.7 The Firehouse sent
I
you.
was an EMT for 22 years. Matter of fact, I'm in a refresher class right now.
Okay.
At Phoebe,
Okay.
So I'm getting my EMT card back. But yeah, I worked. I actually worked in rural Pennsylvania as an EMT.
Wow.
In the city of Scranton, which
Okay.
was cool.
Steve, you're well-rounded, man.
Yeah, man. I've
you've
been
all
around, bro.
over,
I've been
man.
around.
You've been all over, man.
Worked in northeast Pennsylvania in a little town called Honesdale, Pennsylvania,
Okay.
just north of Lake Wallenpaupack. We covered Wayne and Pike counties.
Okay.
Sometimes we covered parts of upstate New York. It was nothing unusual I would drive the medic around sometimes, and
Okay.
we'd have a half-hour, 45-minute response to like a cardiac or whatever. It was, it was crazy.
It was a lot.
It was a
All
lot.
right, so give me some stories. I know you got some stories, whether it's from Mineola, Poconos, Garden City Park. You tell me. Give me at least two good stories. Let's start with one.
All right, let's see. Last year, we got called for a gentleman stuck in a dumbwaiter.
Okay, I know.
So-
Yeah. So what did he hop in there to play around? Probably.
It's something you never I'd never heard that come over. Okay, for somebody stuck in a
Fire
dumbwaiter.
from Mineola.
Yeah, and, right.
Person stuck in a dumbwaiter.
And, yeah, it was like and I was like, okay, this is kind of odd. And I figured once we got there, somebody would looking up the shaft, going, "Hey,
Yeah.
can you get me out of here?" But it was a complete opposite.
Okay.
Complete opposite.
So what'd you roll into?
We were down at the Firehouse having lunch, being like three other guys.
Okay.
One of them being a lieutenant also in the truck company, and one being an ex-captain, and one being a future lieutenant. We were sitting there having lunch, and we get the call. So we get in our gear, and we're like, "Come on, what's going on?"
Yeah.
here, right?
What's this?
we pull out of the firehouse, and Firecom comes back and tells us that MVAC's on scene, and they're screaming for the tool forthwith. And we're like,
wait, what?
What's going on?
Wait, what's
right?
up?
And it was at the Irish American Center on Willis Avenue, which is like, I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 blocks from the firehouse.
Okay.
So we were there pretty fast. We get out of the rig, and one of MVAC's chiefs comes out to us and says, "Yo, guys, we need the airbags or something." So like, what's going on?
Yeah,
we
like
walk
what?
inside. Yeah.
This is not what I'm thinking.
Poor gentleman was stuck head first in the dumbwaiter shaft with the dumbwaiter itself on top of like his shoulder area.
How does that even happen?
The thing was full of alcohol. Like they were testing it. So they loaded it up with like beer and alcohol and stuff like that to test it. He was from a testing company that tested dumbwaiters and I guess elevators. And he had stuck his head in the shaft, and when he did that, it had collapsed on top of him.
Oh my God.
So I was like, wow. I was like, okay.
So he's stuck in between
from his shoulders
from there
with his head
kind of bend down
head first in the dumbwaiter.
Holy wow.
So we made I was the IC at the time.
Okay.
And I made the decision. I said, "There's no
and
time."
just not to cut you off, just for my listeners, explain what IC is, just so they know. Okay, incident commander. So that's who's running the scene. But go ahead.
So we had just made the decision to we had no time to set up the airbags. This guy needed to be taken out of this dumbwaiter right away. So we just took 2 pike poles and 4 guys just grabbed, because the dumbwaiter, you could actually see through the other side of the dumbwaiter.
Okay.
And we stuck 2 pike poles in there, and 4 guys just muscled this thing off.
And got him out.
EMS pulled them out. They actually worked them up into place, got a pulse back in the ambulance.
Wow.
Transport him to Winthrop Hospital. But unfortunately, a week and a half later, he passed.
He passed. Wow.
But
it
gave us, it gave the family some time to say goodbye.
Yep.
And it also, he was an organ donor, so it gave the hospital some time to harvest organs and do it. But that's a call you would never. You
never expect that.
Yeah.
You expect, like I said, when you said dumbwaiter, someone got in it and decided to ride up and down and got stuck and can't get out.
Right?
Yeah.
Can't get out. Well,
but that is not what you roll up and see.
Expected.
Wow. See, just for my listeners and all of my, maybe first-year members or just joining, you got to be prepared. You don't know what you're going to go into.
Yeah, you really don't know. I don't think there's ever a routine call.
Nope.
Okay? They tell us that all the time. Nothing's ever a routine call.
That's right.
And even with an automatic alarm, when I was a member of Garden City Park, we pulled up to an automatic alarm that turned out to be a signal 10.
Yeah. Yeah. I think we've all been there before.
We've all been there.
We've all been there where it was an automatic alarm. And like that, boom.
So, I tell my guys, I go, yeah, I know we're going back to Panera Bread again. But
be prepared as if it's
prepared,
real.
Especially, when you get an automatic alarm at 3 o'clock in the morning, be prepared.
Yeah.
If you get that automatic alarm at McDonald's at 3 o'clock in the afternoon with a fully occupied restaurant, okay.
That may not be.
Yeah,
but 3 in the morning, it's like, hey.
3 in the morning?
Nobody there. You might have
a problem.
Might have something in there going or something in there cooking.
Absolutely.
Yeah, definitely.
So, you should treat every call seriously.
Everyone.
Even if they're chronic and you're like, but.
That's right.
Yeah.
Probies, when you're in that back seat, listen. When you're in that cab in the back, listen. Don't just be back there shooting, doing this. Listen.
Right.
All right, so what other stories you got for me? Got another one for me?
Oh, God.
Because that was a good one. That was definitely a good one.
Had a fire in Williston Park one day, and I said to the captain.
So you're Mineola. Williston Park is there. Are you the first due engine or?
I was a member of Williston Park at the time.
Oh, you were a member of Williston Park. That's right. Steve, I hope y'all know.
Steve
has been around, man. Steve has been
Sometimes
around.
you got to jump around.
You got to jump around until you find a home.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? And listen, all those departments are great. We get a fire one day for a dryer fire on William Street in Williston Park, and I said to the captain, if we don't go, this is going to be a signal 10.
Yeah.
And he was like, wow, we got to wait. I get 3 probies that come to the firehouse, right? One of them might have been in Essentials. The other 2 just joined a month ago. It's like 1 o'clock on a Tuesday.
Wow. So, everyone's at work.
Yeah,
just so everyone knows, 1 o'clock.
It's middle of winter time. with my job, in the wintertime work slows down. So, I'm around.
Yeah, so
more
you're
than
around
what-
and get to
right.
hang out a little bit more.
So I was like, yo, Cap, we got to go. So he's like, all right, man. I was like, just give me the 3 probies. I'll work with what I got.
I'll do what I got to do.
And we pull up. Actually, we pull out of the firehouse, and we're coming over Hillside Avenue, and fire comes back and says, you got an ex-member on scene saying you guys are going to work.
Wow.
So I looked at these 3 guys.
Wait, so
in the back.
Firecom said that?
Yeah.
Oh, you gotta love it. That's the you love about
Right.
Firecom, because they know.
Right. And the ex-member on scene is retired FDNY battalion.
So
safety
you know
officer. So
you're
yeah,
going
you go
to work.
Right.
You're going to work.
So I said, guys, let's go. Saddle up. This is it. Right. And they're like, oh my God. I'm like, just follow my lead. Just
That's it.
follow me.
Relax,
You'll be fine.
breathe,
Relax.
you'll be fine.
We pull up in front of the house. We did a fire to water scenario.
Okay.
Grab the 1 3/4 line. I grab these 3 probies, man. They're fumbling with their stuff, putting their packs on. I'm like, take your time, relax. The fire's
Just
gonna
really
be
quick, not to cut you off, just
Sure.
for listeners that don't know, you said fire to water situation. What do you mean by that? Just
That's
explain.
when the engine pulls up in front of the house or whatever's on fire.
Yep.
And the crew gets off, grabs the hose line off either dead bed. When you dead bed off the back of the rig, and then the engine goes down the block and secures a water
And it secures a water source. All right,
Right.
keep going. Go ahead.
So
they're fumbling. They're all over the place.
because now you see the smoke coming out of the house and
Yep.
stuff like that. And the gentleman who was on scene from the FDNY says, he goes, Steve, I'm telling you, go through the side door. Okay. He goes, the fire's in the basement. I'm like, all right, no problem.
Okay.
Now a lot of houses in Williston Park are they're narrow. They're not very wide, but they're long. They're narrow.
Yeah.
So all right, no problem. So I open the basement door and it's a little chunky, and I go down, and I get down the stairs, and one of the probies says, "You want me to go with you?" I said, "Yeah, follow me down," and I get down the stairs. I get to the laundry room. I open the door, and I can see the washer and dryer, and the fire's just starting to roll over.
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking, we'll be out of here in like an hour. Let me just open the hose line, knock this down.
Yeah.
We're out. Right?
Simple.
Right. Do a little overhaul, and we're out.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, I feel a tap on my shoulder. And I go, who's that? And it's goes, oh, it's Dave. It's a good friend of mine, Dave Cohen,
Okay.
who was city fireman. He was once 27 truck, and now he's a lieutenant in Brooklyn. I was like, oh, thank God, I'm happy to see you, man.
Yeah, I got me and 3 probies here, man.
like, oh wow, thank God you're here, right? So I open the hose line, start knocking the fire down. All of a sudden, I hear signal 41, everybody get out of the house.
Like, wait, what?
Me and Dave looked at each
Horns
other,
going, bam, bam,
yeah,
bam.
right. We're like, what the hell's
What
going
the
on,
hell?
right? Okay, and now the probies now are starting to pull the line out of my hand because we're being
They're
told to
going
back out. We go up the stairs, and I guess there was a flashover on the first floor. Blew all the windows out of the house, and me and
And
Dave,
you're in the basement.
yeah, we had no idea.
No,
We're
no
like,
clue.
right, just knocking it, like doing our thing, and I was like, okay.
Wow.
So we come out of the basement, and the fire is blowing out of the kitchen like a torch.
I can imagine what your face is. You're like, I'm down here doing this.
I was like,
and
can I go back downstairs?
Yeah.
I felt safe downstairs, right? In the basement. I'm like, let me go back downstairs. Like,
Get
turns
back
out we had,
down there.
it was balloon construction. Fire extended to the second
and just
floor of
went
the attic.
straight up. Yep.
But, the fire, I flashed over on the first floor.
Wow.
I'm kind of glad we didn't go through the front
Yeah,
door.
right?
So,
That guy, that seen what he said.
Yeah,
He said
yeah,
a senior
yeah.
guy, man.
Senior
Ex
guy,
guy right
man.
there was like, hey, it's right in the basement.
Yep.
But wow, look at
yeah,
that.
crazy.
Isn't that crazy?
I
And
mean,
you're in
you know.
basement having no clue.
No
No
clue.
clue what's going on.
No
just
clue
working. Like, hey,
whatsoever.
I'm just working down
None.
here.
Just
Wow.
putting the fire out in the laundry room, and boom,
Boom.
boom.
That's crazy.
Oh, okay.
All right, so I got a question for you, Steve. All right. If you could debunk one thing about firefighting, one myth, what would you do? What would you tell me right now that you
For
could
over
debunk
50
right
years, Fire News has been the preferred publication for fire, rescue, and EMS heroes. Fire News print edition reaches Long Island, 17 states, and the District of Columbia. Visit firenews.com to see the latest news, read their digital prints, or follow them on Facebook and Instagram pages. In print, online, on social media, Fire News has you covered. Visit firenews.com. And if you go ahead and go visit on Instagram, please leave a comment and tell them that WRHU 88.7 The Firehouse sent you.
Tell me right now that you could debunk
I
right now.
figure you're going to ask me this question.
Yeah,
I've
we
been
go.
thinking
You
about
know-
my answer all night, right? The one thing that I like to debunk about volunteer firefighters
Okay.
is that we're not fake.
Okay.
I've had
Explain what you
people
mean.
tell me, "Oh, you're a volunteer firefighter. You're fake."
Yeah.
Now, I've had people tell me joking around, and I've had people tell me who are dead serious. You guys are fake firefighters. We're not fake firefighters.
Fire does not
The
know a
fire
difference.
is hot in Nassau County, just like it is in the FDNY
That's right.
or any other part of the country.
That's right.
We're not fake.
That's right. And no one else is coming. That's another thing people think. Oh, you guys are just there until they come.
Yeah, until the
no,
FDNY
who's
shows
they?
up, or the Nassau County Fire Department shows up. Yeah,
The Nassau County Fire Department.
no,
no,
we're the first to know, the first to go. I
Yeah,
mean, you
that's
know
right.
that, and when we have people come to help us, they're volunteers also. And then when they have people to come help them, they're volunteers also.
That's right.
People don't realize that. Like
That's right. That's right.
we're not fake firefighters, Chris. You know, I mean, I don't know what to tell
That's
you.
good. Yeah, I don't know what the.
I don't know what to tell you. In Mineola, we have those big apartment buildings, and I remember one day coming. Me and my wife lived in one for a little while, and I'm in the elevator, and I'm coming down the elevator, and this woman goes, "Oh my God, thank you so much. You're a firefighter." She goes, "Is this what you do for a living?" I go, "No."
No.
I'm like, "We're volunteer."
That's right.
She's like, "Oh my God, you serious?" I go, "Yeah, we're a volunteer fire department." And I'm like,
People don't.
she goes, "Well, I thought you guys were paid," and I go, "No."
We go to work after this call.
Yeah, like I was in my Class A uniform. I think
Okay.
I was going to some ceremony, or
Okay.
I forget what it was, and I said, "No." I said, "Man, we're volunteers. We don't get paid." You know, she's like, "Oh my God," during 2020 COVID and stuff, we had a lot of people move out of the city, out to Long Island.
Yeah.
And a lot of people saw Mineola on the map, said, "Oh, there's a train station there, there's an apartment building here."
And that's where they're going.
I don't have to, and a lot of people think that we're paid fire service,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah,
And
it's not.
that's not just in Mineola, that's throughout the whole county, I think.
I think everyone, they don't realize that, especially as you said, more people come from the
Right.
city, more people come from there. They assume that
Right,
it's
that we're
paid.
paid.
And,
Right.
and it's
They
not.
dial 911 in Queens or Brooklyn,
Yep,
and they
and
get
they're
the
getting
FDNY
in.
in 4 or 5 minutes.
Yep.
You know?
So it's a little
But
bit different.
It's a little different.
But
But
all right, so I still got some more questions for you, all right? I still got some more questions for you. So, really, you know what? Before we get into the questions, we got to play the flashover. We got to play the game. We got to play the game, the flashover, all right?
Sure.
So, Steve, tell me what a flashover is before we even start the game. What's a flashover?
I wouldn't be able to tell you because I was in the basement. No, I'm okay. It's when everything in the room ignites and lights up.
Lights
At the
up,
same
just
time.
like that. And that's
Just
the
like that.
premise of this game called the flashover. I'll give you two things, Android, Apple, and you got to tell me which one you want
Sure.
really quick. We're going to do TV shows and movies, all right?
Absolutely.
And again, I always say this on every show. I always think about changing the shows, but everyone wants me, they want to know what you're going to say for those shows. But I'm going to update it one day. One day I'm going to update it. All right, are you ready?
Right.
Cap, are you ready?
I'm ready.
For the flashover. Okay, here we go. Chicago Fire, rescue me.
Rescue me.
Rescue me, third watch.
Rescue me.
Rescue me again. We're going to talk about that. Backdraft, Ladder 49.
Backdraft.
Backdraft. There
Great
we
movie.
go.
I wouldn't use it as a training film, but great movie.
But great movie.
Great
And
movie.
then the most important question I'm going to ask you today: engine or truck?
Engine,
Tell them
pal.
what it is. Engine. Boom, 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 boom. Engine all the way.
You know, I give the truck guys a lot of respect.
Mm-hmm.
I think truck work, is a lot.
Yep.
You gotta know you gotta be on your game. I
know.
understand truck work. I've done it. I don't like ladders. you put this body 20 feet above the ground, and
It's just not a good thing.
yeah, it's not my thing.
Not your thing. So let me ask you a question. You said Poconos, Williston Park, Mineola, of course, Garden City Park. Were you engine on all of those?
Engine on all of them.
Every single one. Okay, engine.
In the Poconos, we didn't have a truck.
Okay.
We had heavy rescue, a couple engines. We didn't have. There was no need for a truck. Really.
Okay. All right.
We probably could have got away with one, but
It was.
a lot of the homes up there were chalet, 2-story chalet homes that probably could have required a truck, but we just didn't. We didn't
Just
do it. We
didn't.
had a mutual aid company that would come in with their 100-foot stick.
Okay.
And be our truck company.
And then be your
So,
truck
right.
company when needed.
Exactly.
Yeah. Got you. All right. So really quick, I want you to kind of walk me through a day in Mineola. Now, your training day Sundays, because some
Sundays.
people don't train on Sundays.
Just like everybody else.
Just like everybody.
Sundays
No,
are
it's funny
religious
because
day,
someone
man.
had actually said in the comments one day, it was like, well, we don't train Sundays. Sundays isn't our day. And then I was right. You know, some people don't even do Sundays. Some people I've heard do Saturdays. Some people do other days on the weekends. But your day is Sunday. So
I love Sunday mornings, man.
I mean,
love
it gets
going
no
down.
better than a Sunday morning.
Yeah,
Like,
you
what
go
is
down there,
it? It's
coffee's going.
It's
Guys
there
are
you
cooking
go.
breakfast at the Firehouse.
Yep.
I love Sunday mornings.
Yep. So walk me through a Sunday morning in Mineola.
We all three companies get together.
Okay.
You know, company 3 is at Elm Place. Engine 1 and truck 2, the headquarters. We get together. Sometimes we'll do a joint meal for breakfast.
So wait, this is not even training yet. You guys are getting together for a meal.
What we do is, we come down to the Firehouse about 8:30 on Sunday mornings,
Okay.
and we start the coffee. We got guys that start cooking. We get bagels, stuff like that.
Uh-huh.
And we'll have breakfast, and then about 10 o'clock, we go out and we train for about 2 hours.
Okay.
We train Sunday mornings, and Monday nights.
Monday nights. Okay.
Every
So that's
Sunday
it.
and Monday.
Every Sunday.
In the
and Monday.
summertime, we switch over to Wednesdays
Okay.
just to give guys a little bit of a break. In the summertime, there's a lot of things going on. You know, July 4th, Memorial Day.
Yep.
You know, block parties, stuff like that. But during this time of the year, most of it is Sunday, Mondays.
Okay.
And you know, a lot of guys who work Monday nights can't be there, so they come Sunday
They'll
morning.
be there Sunday. So you got to do it. So I got to ask you this question, Steve.
Sure.
You're captain. We're
Lieutenant.
looking at lieutenant.
Thanks for the promotion.
Well,
by the way.
yeah. I've been saying
One
cap
day.
the whole time. I've been
Right,
saying
one
cap,
day.
lieutenant. So that was going to be my question. Are we going to move to captain, to chief? Do you want to take
I
those
think,
steps?
Yeah,
That's
I would
funny,
love
Steve. I've
to.
been saying captain the whole time.
That's all right, man. Thanks for the promotion.
There you
Chris.
go.
I
You got the
really do.
promotion.
Yeah. Yeah, I think when you take an officer's role as a lieutenant,
Okay.
or second lieutenant, and you go up to captain, I think that your goal is eventually to get to chief one
To
day.
get to chief. Okay.
And that's my goal. I would like to be chief of the Mineola Fire Department one day.
Okay.
Will it happen? I don't know.
We'll see what happens.
We'll see what happens. But
But
right
you
now
want to
I'm
go
just-
those steps.
right now, I'm shooting for the rank of captain. And
Okay.
once you get to the rank of captain, then I can
Okay.
focus on being chief one day.
On
I would
being
like
chief.
to. I
Everybody wants to take that step
yeah,
and keep
I mean,
going up.
You know, I think it's great. I
Okay.
would like to do it. So,
All right, so I got another question for you. A couple more questions before we get out of here. Just
sure.
in a whole, right? And you know what? Before we start that, we talked about we skipped something. You said backdraft over ladder 49. Why backdraft over ladder 49? So we kind of skipped that part. Let's talk about that.
I saw ladder 49 once,
Okay.
and I was like, all right, whatever. They're leaving a brother behind. I mean, come on. You know, in real life, nobody gets left behind.
That's right.
You know
That
what
is
I'm saying?
the truth. That's
You
right.
would call a wrecking ball in to knock
yep.
that wall down to
Before,
get that guy out.
yep. That's right.
You know, John Travolta's standing there like, I'm going to miss you. Like, come on. Like, what are you doing?
What are you doing?
What are you doing? You know, watching Kurt Russell run out of a burning room with a child in his hands with his jacket open with no Scott pack is more believable
Than us leaving someone
one of
in
our
there.
own guys
No.
behind. Like, come on.
I love the way you said that. Literally a wrecking ball. We are going in there.
Yeah,
everyone's in there.
If you had
We're fighting to who's
knife,
going.
Yeah. If you had a pocket knife in your pocket, you would dig through a wall to get one of your brothers out.
That's right. That's right.
You know, and I was
so
just
true.
like, I was like, whatever, man. Like, come on. You know, it's like, really?
Yeah,
You
like
really
come
gonna
on.
leave this guy
We're not
behind?
going to do that. We're not going to
We're
do it.
not
So
gonna do
so that's
that.
why backdraft is that's more.
Right.
And that's like the Bible. It's like the Bible of the fire service is
you know,
backdraft.
Right. Exactly.
All right. So before we get out of here, I got a question for you.
Sure.
In a whole, right? How has the fire services, the volunteer fire department, how has it changed your life?
I think it's made me the person I am today.
Okay.
I think it keeps you out of trouble. I mean, I think you think twice before you do stupid stuff.
Yeah.
Because the last thing you want to do is upset your family, and the last thing you want to do is upset your extended family at the firehouse.
That's right.
Because you don't want them to judge you. You know, I think it's great. Wow. I think it really molds you into the person that you could be. I truly believe that. You know, my two kids, I got a 21 and a 20-year-old. My oldest son joined the juniors
I
for a
was
little
about
while.
to ask you that. Did your kids join?
Yeah, my oldest son did. My youngest son wanted no part of it, and then my oldest son discovered girls in high school.
And
so
that was it.
That. So, yeah, I mean, you know.
And you're married too.
Yes.
Is your wife in?
My wife, she moved from Allentown to New York, and she's currently working in Allentown now. But she was a volunteer outside of, like, in Whitehall Township.
Okay.
Right outside of Allentown.
So she understands. That's always great. She understands.
To a certain extent. To a certain extent.
She doesn't understand you barreling out of there on Christmas morning for something.
Yeah. When I ran for lieutenant, I obviously went to her. I said, listen, I want to run for lieutenant.
Yep.
And she's like, oh, that's great. What is it? What more do you have to do? And I'm like, oh, well, I'm going to have to be there most of the Sundays and Mondays. And, it's a little more of a commitment. And for the most part, she does support me.
That's good. What's your wife's name?
Michelle.
Michelle. Thank you, Michelle. Thank you.
So she gets it. She did it herself, her and her brother.
So she understands.
Yeah.
To an extent.
Yeah. So,
to an extent. We're just playing, Michelle. We're just playing.
Love you, babe.
All right. So, last question here, Steve. Sure. If there's someone that is listening that just started or is thinking about joining, what kind of advice would you want to give them?
Do it. Join the volunteer fire service.
Okay.
And listen, if you have a thought about it, join.
That's right.
And if it's not for you, we understand. It's a volunteer service.
Right.
We're not, it's not like being in the mafia.
That's right.
You can leave. So, like I said, we've had a lot of guys between 35 and 45 walk into the firehouse with young, that own houses in Mineola, families, married. Those guys are walking in by the, flocking in.
Yeah.
And it's great.
Yeah, because we were talking about that before. You were saying that a lot of your newer members are older. I don't want to say older, but, 30, 35, stuff like that.
35 to 45, walking into the firehouse saying, I want to be a volunteer. I don't know if they, all of them want to do the job.
That's right.
All of them want to do it. And they've been excellent. Excellent.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
mean, and listen, we get the young guys.
Of course. Yeah.
I don't mind taking the young guys, too.
Yeah.
But the young guys, they come in, we train them, and then they go off to school. Or they, they move out, or, they get married and they're gone,
But
and listen, a lot of the young guys we get are usually because they have family members, that are already members.
Okay.
And that's the same thing with our junior program too. We have a very large junior program.
Okay, all right. So you got a junior program. So you kind of got a pool, a kind of pipeline there.
Yeah, and if we have 35 or 40 juniors and 5 or 6 of them decide to stay, to me that's money well spent.
Yep, sure is.
Because like we're a dying breed, Chris. You know that.
That's right. Yeah.
We're a dying breed.
That's right.
It could be here today and gone tomorrow.
Tomorrow. Yeah.
So if you get 5 kids out of 35 that stay, great.
It's good. Even if they stay for 5 years, 6 years, and then they move on, they're still there.
Listen, every ounce of help helps. So
that's right. So true. All right. So, Steve, am I forgetting anything? Anything you want to shout out? Anything you want to say? Mineola have a Facebook page or anything like that?
Facebook page.
Okay.
We also have Instagram. I believe it's our Instagram is Mineola Fire Department Engine Company 1 on Instagram. The Facebook page, I think it's just Mineola Fire Department. I'm not really into the social media.
Okay. That's cool. That's cool.
I'm worried about the apartment buildings, not who's on Instagram, but yeah.
Okay. We got one extra thing that I'm actually going to add. This is going to be the first time we're going to do this on the show, and we're going to start doing this from now on. All right? So, Steve, if there's one person that you would want to be on this show, who would it be? Let's call them out right now. I'm going to do this now every show. We're at the end. We're going to say one person who we're going to call them out. That means they got to get their butts here.
I was on the phone with them this morning.
Okay.
Brian Santosis.
Brian Santosis, you have been called to the Firehouse. You got to get here, buddy. You got to get here.
Maybe you'll have us back in season 5.
There we go. We'll have you both back.
Oh, that would be awesome, man.
Right.
You would have a great time.
Listen, Steve, thank you.
Chris, thank you.
Thank you so much, man. It was so much fun. All right, so everybody, we just heard from my boy Steve Lampert from the Mineola Fire Department Engine Company 1 about his life as a firefighter. I hope you all enjoyed the conversation. Please like, share, subscribe, do all of those things. I am your host, Chris Moses, and please tune in next week to another great conversation in the Firehouse.